All right, here you come with a New Zealand buck. He looks like a Cracker Jack. Remember what I was saying about the hindquarters? This guy's got it. Look how wide he is. Holy mackerel. Hi, I'm Peter Tursa, and I'm here today with my friend Les Yule, and I'm at his farm in Rabbitry, and we're here to talk about rabbits. We're just outside of Jarvis, Ontario, and I'm going to talk to Les a little bit about how we got into rabbits and that sort of thing, and then we're going to go out to his rabbitry and have a tour and look at some of the equipment and how he does things, and maybe you can learn something. So Les, tell me, how did you get started with rabbits? How long ago, and what got you into rabbits?
I had rabbits when I was in public school, and that was a long time ago. I had them for pets, and there was a little processing plant near my parents' farm, and they were always looking for rabbits. So I started out with growing meat rabbits for this processing plant, and then it turned into a 4-H program. My kids were in 4-H. They really enjoyed the rabbit club. So then I became a rabbit club leader for 27 years and quite enjoyed that, enjoyed the kids, enjoyed watching them learn. And then I kept in with the rabbits. We did a few shows. I met up with Harvey Carver, the late Harvey Carver, Joe Kellogg, and we did a few shows together. And now I just raise them for meat mainly because I'm out of the 4-H program, and I just enjoy having rabbits in the barn.
Have you always lived on the farm?
No, we got married and moved to a house in Caledonia, and then 7 years later we moved out to this farm.
Okay, all right. And we're going to see the building that you have the rabbits in very shortly. So what breeds do you raise, Les, and roughly how many do you have in total? You can either give me a rough estimate, because I know it's always in flux, or you can tell me how many does you have and how many litters you think you have together right now.
Right now I only have 5 New Zealand white does with nest boxes, which were they just kindled the last few days, so I don't know. And then 10 Californian does, and they've pretty well all have nest boxes as well. I keep a few for breeding stock to sell, but right now I probably have total mature rabbits 25, and then I don't know how many young I have. Believe me.
And that varies day to day. And it's very hot today, and I used to find the summers were harder on the rabbits than the winter time. But
the best part for me is they're in an old bank barn. The stone walls are 18 inches thick, and there's always a breeze, so it stays relatively cool in there. I'm very fortunate.
And so you have, if I heard you right, you have New Zealand's and Californians, or Cals as we call them.
Yes.
Okay. And have you had any other breeds over the years?
I had New Zealand blacks for a while, a few reds. Found that breeding stock was extremely hard to locate, so I just stuck with the whites and the Cals.
Yeah, the reds I know are not easy to raise, and to get that color right is a challenge.
A big challenge.
And even getting breeding stock I know was hard to get that color, and to try to improve your color. And so just the New Zealand whites and the Californians. And Les, so if I heard you right, most of your rabbits are used for meat right now still. Do you have a place that you take them to, or do you have just people that come and buy them from you? How do you do that at this time?
I have people that come right to the farm and take them live.
Okay.
I started working in Hamilton 49 years ago, and the first generation Europeans that came here all wanted rabbits. I couldn't raise enough.
And so you don't have a problem getting rid of them at this time?
No.
Good for you. Oh, that's great. That's good. And so what do you personally enjoy most about raising rabbits? You've had them a long time. Roughly how many years? How old were you again, roughly?
Probably 60 years.
60 years you've been raising rabbits. Wow. What do you enjoy? Well, obviously you must enjoy something. You've had them so long. So what do you enjoy about raising rabbits? What is it you like about it?
They're just interesting animals. Breeding and seeing them have 8 or 10 or 12 or even 14 in a litter. I just enjoy it as part of the farm.
Especially when they're coming out of the nest box, isn't it? They're so cute, so nice to see, and when you have success. So over the years, as you've been raising rabbits, I'm sure you're not raising them today the way you did 60 years ago. What is some of your thinking that's changed, and what are some of the things you've learned that work better than other things?
I at one time, because of the convenience, I always overfed them, and now I listen to people like you and I watch how much feed they get. I also feed hay, which is good roughage for them. A lot less problems for compacted gut or anything. And water in the summertime, as you mentioned, it's hard in the winter time, but when it's bitter cold, I'll take them a warm drink at 3 o'clock in the morning just to have them help them get through the coldest parts of the winter.
Yeah, if they don't have water, they don't eat. So it's a two-way thing. So you limit feed, from what I hear. You limit feed. I think that is a better approach, and learning how to do that is a bit of a science. I used to use like a tuna tin size of feed. Now I fed mine twice a day. You only feed once a day? Yes. So I would proportion it that way, and once they have their litter, you ramp it up then, and you make sure that it's all gone is the secret. Before you come to feed again, the feed has to be gone from earlier.
That's right.
Basically within 2 or 3 hours usually has been the rule of thumb. They should be finished their feed. They don't have to eat all the time. The feed is as such today. I know that it has everything in it that they need, has been my general understanding. What do you think?
When we go out today, there will probably be food left in the dishes because this heat has put them off.
Well, correct. The weather is...
It's just critical. And I know there'll be feed in the dishes, but I filled the water dishes up this morning, and they're more interested in water today than food.
Yes. Well, weather is certainly a challenge always, especially with rabbits, and I've found personally that heat was harder to deal with than the cold. And the rabbits seem to be able to take the cold. If they're out of the wind and they have water and they have food, they're happy campers. Their coats seem to have, but the heat, oh my goodness, that's a different story.
When it gets really hot, I've got a fan that I put in the west end of the barn just to move some air, because at 4 o'clock in the morning when it's still and humid, they are just panting, trying to survive.
So what you said about something that's changed over the years is your idea of limit feeding. You found that to be better. Is there anything about the way you do cages? Did you have them in wood cages in the early years?
I had wood cages a long time ago, but I have all wire bottoms now, and the manure's out. There's less feet problems. There's less blisters on their feet. In the winter time, I put in a little piece of drywall that they can sit on so their feet aren't on the cold wire, and that seems to work.
Yeah, wire's a lot easier to clean, and you have just one tier, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
You don't stack them.
No.
And you have one tier, so you can let it pile up quite a bit before you have to take it out and clean it out.
You're right.
And so that makes it easier, doesn't it? Especially if you're still working like I know you are. So the wood cages I always found too much work. One, to get the bedding, and you have a lot more manure to deal with then because you have the bedding as well. Usually shavings or straw. Straw is better if you can get it, barley straw. I usually find is good. Hey, now you actually have the farm here. You have your own hay. What kind of hay do you grow?
Timothy. I grow a mix of Timothy and alfalfa. They really like, I let the Timothy get a little bit old for, say, cows, but the rabbits, they love the chewing. It must feel good on their teeth.
Well, I know the Timothy has more roughage to it.
It has more roughage.
Anyone that talks about it, they always say feed Timothy hay.
And the stalks, The rabbits seem to enjoy eating them, and it keeps their teeth worn down.
Alfalfa, you have to be careful. Alfalfa is a hot
Alfalfa
and can
is
give
too
them the
rich.
runs. Can give them
A
the
lot
runs.
of times alfalfa is too rich. You're right.
Timothy is the hay of choice, for sure. What would you say has been your biggest challenge in raising rabbits? Now, today, or over the years? What's been your biggest challenge of what to deal with?
Breeding seems like a hard...
Explain, what do you mean by breeding?
Well,
What's the
you
problem
know,
with
Peter,
breeding?
how many times I've called you and said, my rabbits won't breed. So you'd tell me, go out at 10 o'clock at night or wait till the moon's full. And sure enough, I don't know what changes their mind, but they go from I don't want to breed to let's do it.
So that did work for you, because I used to do that. Go out very late at night, as late as I could, even midnight some nights. And they say that rabbits are not nocturnal, but beats me. I had more success. I'd breed 10 does and I'd have 10 litters by doing that little formula. Now other guys say it didn't work for them, but it worked for me. I'm glad it worked for you.
It worked for me.
Yeah.
That was
Go
good advice.
late at night, as late as you can make it, and they seem to be a lot more desirable and more success in conception. That's the other thing that I found. They'll have bigger litters as well. Anything else besides breeding? Now, how do you do with record keeping? How do you keep records for your rabbits?
The old-fashioned way.
Just a card on the
I
coop?
have tags on the cages, and then I have a binder with the pen number in it. Who had what, how many, what date, and that way I can keep track of the genetics.
You don't put it in the computer?
No.
Okay. That's okay. Yeah, a lot of guys don't, some do. The programs today are pretty nice, but sometimes too much too, and depending for what purpose. So long you just know who's who, when, and that helps keep a bloodline.
If I was selling registered stock, it would be on a computer, but for me it's...
Now, do you tattoo your rabbits very much?
I haven't tattooed a rabbit for 10 years.
Okay.
Because I haven't gone to shows.
Yeah, and the Canadian ones, you don't even have to have them tattooed, so that doesn't even matter if you go to one of those, versus the American Rabbit Breeders Association. Well, before we go out to the barn, one last question. Barn and the Rabbitry, I like calling it a Rabbitry because that's what we in the hobby and in the industry call it. We're mostly hobbyists, even though we have more rabbits than many people do. I know I used to have 200 or 300 at any given time, but at the most 25, 35 does at the most. But in the barn, because we're raising them, I would raise them for showing. I would keep them a lot longer than just having the litter and out to market. So you have a lot more cages and they would be around a lot longer. But is there a memorable experience or a highlight that you reflect back in your time of having rabbits? Is there a time in your life or a time with raising rabbits that you just say was a good time and stands out for you?
One of the most satisfying incidents or occasions in raising rabbits was seeing 4-H kids start at a very young age, so shy they could hardly look at me. And at the end of Caledonia Fair, which was our local fair, they would be quite proud to show their rabbit with the proper handling procedure. They knew how to look after them, but the satisfaction that I got from seeing that, and their parents would come to me and say, thank you for spending the time on my little girl or little boy. They've opened up. They're so much better socially. The 4-H program is unbeatable for
good for you.
Growth skills.
Good for you, Les, to be a part of that. I know it's not as much today anymore. Things have changed, I think, with the technology. Kids are maybe more interested in that, but I know you had some years with that, and I'm sure it's been appreciated by some of those kids. Are probably adults now, so.
Past adults. They're in their 40s. I was in 4-H for 27 years, and I still see them, and they still come up to me and say hello and talk to me. So
awesome, Les.
They remember
awesome.
4-H.
Now, is it okay if we go to the barn?
Let's
the
do
Rabbitry. We're going to go there. Join us. We're going to head that way now. We're in your barn here, Les, and you're standing in front of a Californian doe with a litter there. Let's start. What size is your cage here generally for a breeding doe?
3 feet by 2 feet by 16 inches high.
Okay. And I notice you have your metal feeder hanging sideways there. Explain what's happening. I know there's a reason.
I used to feed them all with the metal feeders, but I've gone to limit feeding, so I put an individual dish in the pen, and that way I can judge how much they're eating. If they're off their feed, I know something's wrong, and I know to watch extra carefully. The metal feeders are in the pen so that the babies don't jump out when they start jumping out of the nest box.
Okay, and your nest box, you're a wooden nest box guy?
Yes.
And generally, how big do you have for nest boxes?
18 by 12 inches.
And the main secret is it has to fit in your door.
That's correct. You're right.
Have you done that? Built one and it didn't fit?
I can't deny it. I've done it.
Me too.
I thought, you know what? The bigger nest box, the better. And then it wouldn't fit through the door. So
actually, Les, I have found the smaller nest box is better. It keeps the litter together in winter, especially.
Yeah, I have smaller ones than this, but like you say, if they have them in the fall, when the weather gets colder, I put a smaller nest box in. You're right.
To keep otherwise they can spread out, and they'll die on their own sometimes. There's not enough heat in the winter, so.
No, you're right.
Okay. And you have one tier in your whole barn here, and it's going to do, you have a couple rows here, and so all the droppings fall down below, and it's quite good for temperature in here, Les. There's a good breeze.
It's between the stone foundation and the breeze, it's quite comfortable. You're right.
So generally you don't have to put fans in?
Not until maybe August when it gets really humid.
And through the night if there's no wind?
If the wind dies down at 4 o'clock in the morning, I've got a 3 foot by 3 foot fan that I put on the west end just to move some air.
Okay. So when you give them hay, how do you give them hay?
Just, I make small square bales and I just give them a good handful, depending on how many babies are in the cage, or even the adults. Every third day they'll get a handful of hay. And
you throw it in the door, put it in the door right on the floor?
Yes.
Okay. And some guys have hay feeders on the outside and that. Now, can you just open the door there and let me show those little gaffers in there? You know how many you have in this litter? Look at them stretched out today.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
There's 9. What a good litter there for California. They're good mothers generally as a rule.
Very good.
I find them as good mothers. Okay, so...
Back to the hay comment.
Yes?
That's why I use Timothy, because the leaves don't fall off. If you use clover or alfalfa, the leaves fall through the cage floor and it's wasted. But Timothy hay, it won't do that.
Not as much, that's for sure. There's always a little bit of loss, but not as much. So let's talk a little bit more about water bowls. And I noticed that you have 2 bowls in the cage. One is metal and one is plastic. Well, how do you use each one? You want to open the door there a little bit? And show us, bring the metal one over. So that's a metal one.
These are stainless steel metal bowls. I made them.
You made them yourself. You're a welder.
Yes. They're every couple of weeks I take them out and soak them in bleach to make sure they stay clean. They're heavy. The rabbit can't tip them over and spill the feed. And the crocks for water, in the winter time especially, the water does freeze in them, but I have enough extra. I can take 10 a night out, put them in the house by the wood stove. They thaw out, and then I put 10 more in to keep them going for the next few days. And then by the time they have too much frozen water in them, I can switch them out with the empty ones. And they have little locking tabs on the bottom.
I see that. And so you put it in the cage and twist it.
It goes right through the 1/2-inch hole, half a turn.
And they can't move that around, and the feed is heavy enough that they can't tip it over.
Right.
And you have another one that you have in your hand there. That's a metal one as well?
This is aluminum, cast aluminum, heavier. It doesn't have the tab on the bottom, but it's heavy enough, unless the rabbit gets really mad, it can't flip it over.
Sounds like a plan. Okay, let's talk a little bit about sanitation. Now I noticed that this looks like a dairy barn at one time, because it's all concrete floor and you have gutters. So how do you find the concrete?
I like it. It's easy to scrape out, to keep clean. If I get behind in the summertime, I put spray lime down if I think I have a fly problem. Like the spray lime keeps the fly larvae out of the manure under the pens. But
Right. And you just use a wheelbarrow, obviously, and a shovel?
Shovel and a wheelbarrow. Thank goodness my son and grandsons came over on the weekend. That's why it's so clean.
Just walk down here and look a little bit at your rabbits here as we go. And so you've got a New Zealand doe here.
Nice New Zealand doe. She's thinking about it. She should be due any time.
She's pulled lots of fur.
She's ready.
Wow. Yeah.
So
Cal doe here.
these were just born maybe 3 days ago, so I haven't even looked into see how many she has.
You have chickens and roosters too, I can tell.
Just a minute. Well, you know what?
Don't.
She's very grumpy. She's very protective.
Don't go in there with me here then. Yeah.
I'll go in another cage if you wish.
Yeah, another day. Yeah, or another one.
This is a buck I'm going to show you on the table before you go.
Okay.
New Zealand buck. This is a really nice doe. She was bred the 9th of June. Took a few days to get her in the mood, but I'm pretty sure she's bred. This is my herd buck for the New Zealand whites.
Okay.
He's pretty attractive.
Okay, and you can maybe bring this nest box out. Oh, they're all out already. That's okay.
There's 1, 2 out, and 1, 2, 3 in the nest box.
It's good. Oh, look at these little guys. Just open the door there. It's a hot day, and they're all stretched out here. Look at them, and they're eating already, the little guys. How old would they be? Maybe 2.5, 3 weeks?
They were born on June the 7th.
Oh, they're not even a couple weeks old. There you go. Look at that. Beautiful. You notice that they don't have their markings yet. They're just slightly coming in.
They're just starting on the
hairs on the ears there, and
these all jumped out yesterday in the heat, just to get some air moving around them. This doe's getting older, but she's pretty faithful, and she throws out really nice young stuff.
Way to go.
So that's why I keep her.
Okay. So now you've brought out a Californian here, black tail, black ears, and we'll see when you turn them over that not yet. So just pose the rabbit to show her. Is it a buck or doe?
Buck.
Buck, okay.
Born last November.
And what do you like about this buck?
I like his height, his shape. He's got a nice, thick, really thick loin on him.
That's here between the two hips. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Sometimes I get them weak in the shoulders, but he's not perfect, but he looks pretty nice.
Very good. He does look nice.
The dam came from the doe came from Bob Donnell.
Oh yes, yeah.
And then the buck came from you, Peter, because that's how I keep the color in my cows.
The bucks that you got from me, I know were really dark.
I have Peter A and Peter B, and they still give me dark colors on the.
So one of the problems sometimes is that these guys gray out. Now in the judging, most judges don't seem to get too worked up about it. But as a breeder, I always felt that was a poor specimen. They should be black as black can be.
I like the dark myself.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm glad that that buck worked out for you. There we go.
There we go, buddy.
Definitely a buck. Yeah.
Teeth are good.
The black, you see the paws are black. There's a certain point it can't go beyond coming up the back, but he looks good.
Definitely a buck. No abscess.
And you're really grabbing him behind the neck and the ears. You're not really pulling on the ears at all, just so people know.
The ears are just there.
Just there,
I
yeah.
got the skin on the back of his neck.
That's right. That's how you're holding him. All right. Is there another one you'd like to show off?
Yep.
So you have another cow buck here.
Here, see, I've lost in the shoulders on him.
Yeah, he's...
I like this part.
Yeah, he's higher than the last one.
He's higher, got more height, but I lack in the shoulders.
Not as wide in the loin either. But good, this is not a scruffy rabbit, just the other one was a bit, well, maybe not, but just a little indented here. Needs to be a little fuller. That's the way we like them usually. Yeah, well, he's not posed quite right. There we go. That's better. Look, first you got to pose him, right? There we go. There we go. Now we're talking.
That's a little
So
better.
you like this? This is not bad.
Not bad, but if it could come up a little higher there.
Yeah, yeah. And I'd like a little more width in the hind end. But he's no slouch. Okay, another Californian. Okay, you're going to get a New Zealand for us?
Yep.
All right, here you come with a New Zealand buck. He looks like a Cracker Jack. Remember what I was saying about the hindquarters? This guy's got it. Look how wide he is. Holy mackerel.
See, we got the width.
Yeah, he's got the width there.
Got some height.
And it comes right off the neck and right up. Beautiful. Look at that. Right up and over. Full in the hind end. Shoulders. Oh, he's not. There we go. Posed a little better there now. There we go. Look at that nice wide loin and good in the hind end. Fur is not this time of year.
It's
in the fall, you're going to get your nice fur, yeah. But
yeah,
this is the middle of summer, and it's hot, isn't it? It's over 30 degrees Celsius today. So, yeah, awesome. Nice buck. Nice buck. Now, what's the pedigree to this guy? Do you know?
He came from Joe Kellogg
Yeah.
and Harvey Carver.
Wow. Yeah.
So I haven't talked to Joe for a couple of years, but you know Harvey passed away.
Yes. Yeah.
But I still have breeding stock with HC on them for Harvey Carver, so
All right.
I miss him dearly.
Yeah, he was a friend of yours, I know. Somebody starting out for rabbits, what would you recommend to someone who's starting in rabbits?
Go to a breeder that you can count on for good stock, no diseases, no health issues. I know we have a local sale barn here, and I see people buy them from there, and you got to remember you come home with every disease that's in that sale barn. Unfortunately, I know they're cheaper, but I'd rather spend the extra money and go to a reputable breeder, and then you know you haven't got issues.
Yeah, find someone who's got rabbits, has had them for a while, knows what they're talking about. And the other thing that I would like to add, and maybe you can add to it as well, when people are just starting out, don't get 10 does to start with. Get one buck if you've never raised rabbits and you're just starting out. Get one buck, get 2 does, and run with it for half a year. That's all. It doesn't take long to get going if you buy them of breeding age. And within 6 months, you have a better idea of what you need to do and how to change your setup or make your setup. I've always learned that when I got a new cage, I worked with it to see if I liked it or not, and especially if I designed it, and then make modifications before I ramp it up if you're going to have more rabbits. Some people don't want more than a trio, but a trio is a good place to start. What do you think?
Trio is a perfect place to start because until you get them, you don't realize how much time they take. And you've got to remember, whether it's work, school, college, whatever your social life is, my animals always come first. I look after them before I look after me.
And how about the wife? I had to throw that one in there.
You know what? She's good about it because
Yeah, you have to have your spouse in on it because these guys take a lot of time.
and she knew we both valued the 4-H program because we were both in it when we were kids.
Yeah.
And I still feel it's a really good program today for
Awesome.
youth.
Yes, yes. Well, Les, thank you so much. And thank you, my friends, for being a part of this. And for Les, for sharing your rabbitry to us and your hospitality. Thanks a lot.
It was a pleasure to have you, Peter. Thank you.
Take care.
Okay, buddy. I know it's hot.